What did you say, Jimmy?
I said it's just as bad as Nathaniel.
How do you figure that?
It just is.
That's also not his name.
Nathaniel.
Yeah.
They don't say the TH.
So there you go. There you have it.
Is it
sir.
Argentinian?
How many things have you been wrong about so far while being in this room?
A lot.
A lot.
I don't say that I'm not always right. I mean,
Good. Yeah, that's good of you.
yeah.
You want a Zen?
I do.
Sure.
Welcome back,
You want
everybody.
one?
No,
Yeah.
I don't want one.
Yeah, we're recording right now, so you guys are so unprofessional.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
Oh, you only have 2 left.
Well, you get one and Jimbo gets one.
What about if I wanted one? Who would get it out of that?
You don't.
I'd give it to you if you wanted it.
You guys could share it.
I don't
you know?
really need
I could
it.
run to the gas
You
station.
guys could share it. You know.
No, that's okay.
You guys could just make out. Me and Nate do
With
that
a
sometimes.
Live on the podcast.
With a snuff pack in it?
Welcome back to Guys from the Gym.
Some ASMR.
I'm your host tonight.
Quad host.
Nathaniel. What did you say my name was?
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel. That's not my name. That just drives me nuts that after all these years you still don't know my name.
What is it?
It's Nathan. Or Nate. to
No.
you. It's Mr. Weaver to you.
Mr. Weaver.
Okay. Sensei.
You sound like a teacher.
Do I?
Yeah.
Master Weaver.
Boy, do we
Champions
have
of
some.
baskets.
Boy, do we have some stuff to talk about today.
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready. What's
We
up?
do. Okay, so few things to clarify from
Some housekeeping.
to clarify from a couple podcasts ago. Okay,
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
I got some updated answers from the ornament incident.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't remember what yours. You had some, Aimee, and we couldn't answer them at the time. I don't. Do you guys remember them?
No.
What are you asking?
There was some things that we were had questions about.
I think I might have asked, is she following him on social media?
Yeah, so the guy Zach, you fill him in because people might just be listening to this one and they haven't heard the last one, so let them know what happened.
Right. So the Reader's Digest version, you have a guy dating girl A. 2-3 years. We're dating a while.
Yeah.
2 years maybe.
3 years going on 4.
Work together. Work associates.
Oh, you mean that? Sorry.
They break up. New girl who we like better than girl A.
Should we give them
moves in-
names?
You should not.
No.
She moves
No.
into the picture. For 3 Christmases in a row, they receive an ornament as a gift from the ex. They have no sort of contact with this person.
Right.
The ex knew the job that he was going to, so one of the ornaments was for the new gig. The next ornament was for the next new gig that she shouldn't have known about.
Right.
So there was a little bit of weirdness there.
Yeah.
There's also some more information that I know that I'm not going to divulge because I don't think we divulged it last time.
Yeah.
But this person has a position where information can be ascertained through her job.
Right. Yeah, that's
Which
a good
is
way of
weird.
putting it. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So
So she's violating some
could be.
things
Yeah.
here.
Or at least walking a gray line. You know what I mean? At least.
Right. So one of the things was that they thoroughly enjoyed it, by the way, because the guy didn't know. So when they were at home,
Listening.
she put on the podcast while they were cooking,
Oh, gosh.
and he was like, "Wait a minute!" He's like, "I know this scenario." And he
You know what'd
started
been hilarious?
laughing immediately,
It'd be
being like,
hilarious
"Holy
if he
crap!"
didn't know it was him. He was
Yeah.
like, that happened to somebody else?
That's just like us.
Yeah, that would be so funny. Yeah, well, so then he started laughing because he had no idea that we were going to talk about it on the podcast. But so he has no social media.
Okay.
So no contact at all.
Okay, well, then she's definitely violating some things here.
Yeah, he has
You gotta
no
think
social
so, right?
media. Yeah,
But I don't even know what, okay, I know what she does, but I'm saying, that's not, there's no way to find out who you're working for unless you're just keeping tabs on people.
So the other thing,
through friends and stuff.
So the other thing that was interesting was not found out today that did not end well, and then something else happened where his ex started having, I believe, a relationship. I don't know if it was with somebody they knew, but started having a relationship with somebody that they both worked
Another
with.
friend.
Yeah, another friend.
That's cool.
that's I think a superior. So he was like, and what's crazy, okay, when he got what I didn't know was timeline wise, when he got the first ornament, they were still doing the same job.
Oh, okay.
So they were still doing the same job. That relationship started while they all still worked together. And so then he was like, I'm totally done, because it made everything super awkward. So then like he blocked like all communication. So then that makes like the next time around he switched jobs to,
So-
then when he got the second ornament and it was specific to his new job.
Does she have, or does he have her number blocked?
I assume, I don't know.
Because that would, I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't know.
It would just be interesting. I don't know.
There, she's now though like really interested for this Christmas, because like she's wondering what's gonna happen, you know.
Well, I want to see
What
a
if-
picture of the ornament.
Yeah, we'll get it. I'll try to get some.
What if X hears this podcast and then is now figuring out how she's, like, she either needs to stop or...
Oh, well,
That would
if
be
I were
crazy.
her, I would be backpedaling right now, because she probably...
Because she sounds like a
realizes-
psycho.
Well, not just even that, like the fact that the job that she holds has the potential to look at other people's information, whether she did it or she didn't do it. Now there's
Right.
doubt that
Yeah.
she has done that.
Yeah.
And so...
Very true.
Listen,
Look,
if she wants,
guys,
if she
we're-
wants to get her story out there, hit us
We'd
up.
love to have her on the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be wild?
That would be well. So anyway, these
This would be-
people want to come on our podcast.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
the guy wants to, like, he said there's a bunch of things to it that make it even crazier. And I was like, we'd love to have him
Smack
on.
Talk Saturday.
Yeah, Smack Talk Saturday. I was like,
Okay.
we'd love to have both of them on. We can
Okay.
hook them up. We can.
Does he want an alias?
That's so they started they were laughing because they started making jokes about that he comes on and, like, let's say there's video.
We have to change his voice.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he's like, so you know how they like changes there, and then we've got the shadow where you can't see him.
dimmer
you know?
light
Yeah,
Like
over
a
him.
60 minutes Dateline
yeah,
kind of thing.
And then she was laughing, saying that Zach and I could do reenactments of them getting the ornament. So like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
the guy, and then Zach plays her, and then it's like, you know how it's like it's like a weird FPS, so the motion is bad. Like
Yeah.
Why
on
is
the
Zach the girl?
Can I just take a second?
Okay.
Nate called me a girl. It's for a bit, and I didn't freak out about it. Just saying.
See?
Well, I just figured if you guys were playing like
that was a
couple-
shot at Aimee.
That's great. Was it? I didn't even catch that.
Because every time I call her like Queen of the Whores or something, she's offended.
Yeah, but that's different.
Is it different? All right.
that's very different.
Let me take my shots back. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were saying like, dude, I've got, like, that's growth, because normally you'd be like, well, you'd be the girl in the situation. Like that, you usually flip it.
I
you
see.
know?
No, yeah, that's probably
But
true.
you can see the reasons though why you would be.
What,
I
the
would-
girl?
Yeah.
I would think it would be you.
Why?
You got the childbearing hips.
Well, that's true, but there are things that he has in similar to the person.
Oh, okay.
Blonde hair.
Estrogen levels.
Yes. Yeah. Estrogen levels. So I'm interested. They want to come on the podcast, but I'm like, that would be great, I think. That'd be
I'm down,
great.
dude. Call them right now.
The only thing is that I don't know. Like, I'm sure they'd be. I don't know. I want to see if we'll have to see if their names, like, they're okay with us. But because we'd have to introduce who they are.
No, we won't.
Well, we can
Yeah, they
come
can
up with their
have
names
We can
right
make.
now.
That's
They
true.
can
We can
have
make
fake
fake names.
Yeah.
We could make. I'll be like, this is Dilbert and Hagatha.
Yeah.
Agnes.
Agnes is good too. Just a terrible name.
Crud. Let's call
Crud
them
and
crud.
the Cruds.
Yeah, Agatha Crud.
Agatha Crud. That's a horrible name.
I know, dude. You gotta change it. What's
So-
the worst? What's the worst name you've ever met in person? Have we already done this?
It never aired, that podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did it one time, but it never aired.
Can I say mine? Is that why you deleted it?
No, it was everything else that we talked
okay.
about. It was
Do you
mainly
guys know-
Amy.
do you
We
guys
couldn't
know the
air it because
worst
Amy
names?
mainly. Amy, you know what? Amy sounded like. Amy was like
A sailor that's been at sea for
Amy
way too long.
Yeah, Amy was like if Bob Knight was a sailor.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight was a sailor, a drunk sailor
Yeah.
that had been at sea for 10 years.
Yeah.
Amy looks so confused.
I know who Bobby Knight is.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, you're trying to figure out why it was. I'm kidding. It was mainly Zach and Jimmy.
I
to
mean,
be
I
honest with you.
recognize that I'm the one that cusses in the group.
No.
Zach cusses too. So does
Yeah,
Jimmy.
but I cuss more. I identified that very early on just working out
I
with
thought
you.
her-
Cursing
think
is
you've
just
done
a sign
great.
of intelligence.
Actually, it's the opposite.
No.
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 Good.
What's the worst
good
name you've
rebuttal.
heard? What's the worst name you've heard?
So, this was a coach. This was a coach who went to my high school after I was there.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like, you write your own story.
Right.
So it's the best or the worst or whatever.
Right.
His last name was Fag.
Okay. How was it spelled? Just like it sounds? Oh.
So here's why it's the worst. Him and his brother were the coach's son. So, like, you think about growing up around kids, like junior high, and you got a target on your back because you're the coach's kid. That's a rough name. They're also calling your name if you make a good play. You know what I mean?
Ugh. I'd be like, just say my jersey number.
His brother took his wife's name.
Huh.
Look, you've got to.
Hold on.
You've got
Hold
to.
on, though. You made it that far, though, and you're cashing in your chips.
No,
Now,
that's a good point.
What really it was the woman
She
was
didn't
like,
want that name?
exactly. She's like, I'm not down for that. You got to think. I don't know that, but that's got to be what it is.
Oh.
Well, also if
I
like
didn't think
they
about
had
it from that
if they were bullied as a kid,
I told
they could
Jimmy
also
I'm not
change their
taking his last name.
because-
Why?
Because I like my last name. I didn't take my last name
It's
in my
not like
first
your
marriage.
last. It's not like your. It's not like
I
your.
am the only
You can
Aimee
still like
Klickner. What?
You can still like it.
Okay, well, it's okay. It's an all right last name. But I am the only Aimee Klickner in the entire world. If I become
Nichols.
Aimee Nichols.
Aimee Nichols does have a cool ring. I'm not saying get away with Klickner.
I thought Nichols is like a cool last name.
Yeah.
I like my last name better.
You should keep it then.
Sorry.
I'm not making comment. I'm just saying, like, there are worse last names.
For sure.
Well, my original one, like my first marriage, was Hall. Didn't take that either.
Hall's not bad. It's just very generic.
Yeah, it is kind of generic.
Mine is not a good one because nobody
Weibert?
can say it, and it doesn't like roll off your tongue.
Who doesn't know how to say Weibert though?
People put like an L in there all the time. They'll be like Welbert, and I'm like, no, it's not.
I've had people
all the time.
I've had people
What?
say like Nicholas. And it's Nichols. 'Cause
Really?
of the way it's spelled. Yeah, it's because of the way it's spelled. It's an ICKLES.
The I don't know about like the weirdest name that I've ever not the like worst name, but I think I've told this on the podcast. I don't know if I've said it before, but that's kind of cool to be at a point where I don't remember what
Yeah,
I've said
I would
or not
say,
because we're
like,
that many episodes
dementia.
in.
The dumbest name I think that I've seen, like that I've actually know of a person whose first name is William, last name's Williams, so it's William Williams, and it's like
That's
I knew a Casey.
it's
That's
it's so
ridiculous.
generic.
That's
you
so
want to
lazy.
tell me that? You want to tell you the worst part about it?
That's
They spelled them different. So it was Casey with a K, and last name was Casey with a C.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
at least
So,
Casey Kasem.
Yeah,
You know, it's different, but it like just
Maybe
different
that's-
enough where it rolls.
Maybe that's what
you
they
know?
were going for. I don't know. I knew a guy.
William Williams that's so lazy.
But you could be Bill Williams.
Or Will Williams.
Will Williams. Or
Willie.
Bill. Bill.
Will.
I didn't know him, but I met him. A guy named Chip Stone.
That's kind of a dope name.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
That's
kind of
pretty cool.
Chip it's hit or miss, but it depends on the person probably.
Exactly.
you know?
I knew a guy whose first name was Stone. Went by Stoney.
why? I'd go by Stone.
He was an old guy. He was a man's man.
Stony.
Yeah, if you're a man's man, you don't like put a Y on the end of your
What was
name.
his last name?
Corone.
It was an IE.
It was Corone.
Stony Corone.
Wow, that's pretty sick.
It is pretty sick.
Stony Corone. He could do anything in life.
Yeah, that Stony Corone could be the president of a trucking company.
Yeah, he could be a bail bonds. He could
Oh
do,
yeah.
injury lawsuits.
Actor,
Actor,
Porn star.
plumber.
porn star.
Call Stony Corone. We'll clean your pipes. He could do anything.
They could.
Stony Corone. He could probably, you know what he could do? He could sell timeshares.
Oh yeah.
He could be that guy that meets you at breakfast.
He
and
could be the
steals 4
guy. He
hours
could
of
be
your
the
day.
guy that gets you out of timeshares. Mm-hmm. The lawyer that like he's like, I'm a timeshare lawyer. You guys
You know
are
what else he could be? He could be like anti-terrorist cell that operates outside the government.
for sure.
And he's like, I know. You're like, I know a guy. He's like, he's real, like off
He's
the grid.
top tier, tip of the spear.
Yeah, it's like we got to climb this mountain over here and fire a flare and camp there for 3 days. He'll find us.
Yeah,
What's his name? Just call him Stony Corone.
I like it a lot. That's a cool
He
name.
definitely has a ponytail.
Does he have a ponytail?
No, I think he had short hair.
Well, that's.
I mean,
That's
it was
cool,
this
too.
girl's
He
dad.
can do whatever.
So it was like.
Hold on. What?
It was this girl's dad.
And what does that add to the story? That he could reproduce? What are we saying?
Well, I don't like.
Oh,
I
what you
didn't,
were
like,
saying
sit
was
down there
you were
and talk
dating.
with
You were
them.
dating her.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just a friend.
You meet Stoney Carone and you don't pull up a chair and ask questions?
No.
What was her name?
Brittany.
Brittany Carone? That's, come on. That's so basic.
Yeah.
We got to go with
What would you
something.
name her? Carone. Cauldron. I couldn't think of it. Sorry. Don't.
I don't know. Something different like
I feel like you need the alliteration with her. Like
Yeah.
Callie Carone.
that's dope, too.
Kelly Carone.
Kelly Carone. That's a good name.
Maybe
Sounds like a character from a sitcom.
Yeah, for sure. But like the smart one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The girl that I knew, her name was LaDasha.
Oh.
Have I told you guys this before?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. But that is such an infamous name that I learned of that name in training for another company I worked for.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when she signed her receipt, she put LA dash
Hyphen.
Yeah, A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I haven't confirmed this, but my wrestling coach in high school told me there were twin brothers in like southern Missouri named Lamangelo and Arangelo.
No.
Orange and yellow jello.
Yeah. Lemon.
Oh, lemon jello. Sorry.
Yellow jello.
Yellow jello.
Lamangelo?
Yellow jello. Yeah.
It's like people don't even care. You know,
That's like one of my favorite bits that people do, like of the new recruiting class or the new whatever, like the craziest names. Mm-hmm. And there's a white kid who I don't know if he's gonna go. It matters that he's white. I think he's like highly touted Division I, and his last name is like Kniger or something.
Yeah.
And they're like sweating bullets, these announcers, because it's like, how do you say this? Because you don't pronounce the K.
Right.
And they're like, we need some clarification here.
We need clarification here.
Yeah, it's you're gonna hear a lot of like number 11 on the tackle.
Yeah, you have to. Like, because that's what I'm saying. It's the same way with the guy that had that last name, the F-A-G-G, or however it was spelled. It's like,
Well, that's like another funny one is Steve Kerr was a basketball player.
right.
He has a son who named him Nicholas, and he goes by Nick.
Okay. Well, that's a real problem.
Getting dangerous.
That's a
Getting
real
close, right?
real problem.
But you did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just nobody.
That's why I turned down 5,000 names before we landed on the one we were on.
Yeah, for sure.
With my daughter.
Yeah.
This is like, can I make fun of it? Is it a racial slur? Is it a hate crime?
Yeah. Is it a hate crime? Are they named after a serial killer?
Is it some sort of incantation? And
Yeah, exactly. Is it a spell from Harry Potter?
Right. Yeah, because we were hovering around Expelliarmus.
Okay, all right.
Expelliarmus! Man, I wish that was real.
That's kind of dope.
Dude, I'd hit you with that 4 times a day.
Well,
I was a little, like, unenthused about the Harry Potter universe. I feel like they should be able to do more. You know what I mean?
I've only ever seen one of them.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I only ever saw the one with the guy.
I'm the exact same.
Have you seen any?
I've seen the first one, and I don't
Yeah.
even know that I finished it.
Yeah,
I
saw the.
wasn't interested.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I saw the
made for
third one.
children.
Which one's the one with the guy that looks like Triple H?
Okay.
You know,
I need more.
he was like a big beefy dude with like long hair, and I remember the Dementors were in it.
Probably number 3.
I think it was the third
Prisoner of
one.
Azkaban.
Yeah, but it was also one of those things where like I went with a group of people, and then me and another person were making fun of it the whole time and just like laughing, and they weren't very happy about that.
You got to start from number 1 and then just move forward. It's a good story.
Or don't.
Yeah, I get it. Look, people miss certain things. Like I've never seen an
Horcrux.
episode. What is that?
I just ruined it.
Oh, okay.
Whole series.
Well, you got. Hey, what is that? What are you guys talking? Just because you know it, and Aimee and I don't, doesn't mean
It's a good story. I mean, it's like, what I like about it is she clearly knew how it was ending when she wrote the first book. I just think it was cool.
Well, that's cool.
As far as like storytelling goes.
Like everybody in like I've never
lot of holes in it.
I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. Have you guys?
I saw
Watched
like
them all.
the first 2 or 3, and it was way too rapey for me. I couldn't get through it.
I
It's rapey.
I think a lot of series now that start on like HBO or like I guess any streaming service now gets a little racy the first couple seasons and then it kind of chills out. I feel like that was Game of Thrones, but they still had like twists and here and there to make it interesting.
I just remember everybody was bummed because the 8th season like bombed, like the finale and all that stuff.
They say that for everything, though.
Well,
They say that for the what's the one?
Dexter.
Sopranos was like that.
Really?
Yeah, Sopranos is okay. I got into it for a while. I was like, I don't know, like 5 episodes into the first season. It's kind of slow though, because it's definitely like early 2000s,
right?
Which is fine, but no, I do think, Jimmy, you're right though. Like, I'll watch a show, whether it's Netflix or whatever, and the first season is just like nudity, violence.
Yeah.
And then season 2, it's like, let's chill out. Chill out a little bit.
They're like,
We got hooked.
they need the show to get picked up.
Yeah.
And the executives are like, we need a lot more nudity,
Yeah.
a lot more gory violence, and
We need 2.5 breasts per episode.
yeah,
The breast per minute.
2.5. We need
ratio.
2 fulls and a slip.
2 fulls and a slip. In some of those shows, it's like, and how like atrocious can we make this woman look? We need a third eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She needs some sort of like,
yeah.
I don't know,
Need to make her like an old witch that's just real
Yeah.
haggard.
real haggard.
We need a haggard witch. We need a haggard witch
real
nip
haggard.
slip.
Nice, dude.
Other things you wanted to talk about, Nate?
Well, I saw this video the other night, and I know you guys have probably saw this or thought about it at some point, but the video was about the Mandela effect.
I don't
And-
think I've seen this.
And they were talking about like just different things about it or whatever, but there's this whole group of people that have taken the Mandela effect into this whole nother level where the Mandela effect's no longer just like, because if I know, I don't know anything about it, but the Mandela effect's just like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you probably know more about this than I do, but it's like a big group, like a large group of people remember something wrong.
Well, they remember it the same way, which is wrong.
Right, exactly.
So it's named
Yeah.
the Mandela effect because a lot of people wrongfully believe
That he died
Nelson
in prison.
Mandela died in prison, which he didn't.
Right. And so
But
then
a
it
lot
was,
of people believe that.
right, everybody was like, what? Because there was this huge group of people that thought, okay, for sure he's dead. And then he wasn't. But then now there's this whole group of people that think there's too many different occurrences of this happening, that there's like an alternate dimension or an alternate like timeline,
Like a multiverse, basically.
there's like a multiverse, and like we're getting like different glimpses of it, or like different things are happening. And then other people are saying that it's just all one giant conspiracy for some reason, because they don't want us to remember history the right way. So there's like different like groups of thought or whatever. But what were you gonna say, Aimee?
I don't know that this particular thought is based around the Mandela effect, but like there was a point in time where they talked about specifically where the world was supposed to end, and then it didn't end,
Right.
and a new quote unquote universe or whatever started.
Yeah, that's
and
kind
what's
of in
really
there.
weird
Yeah.
is this all is the time frame that they said is like 2012, if I remember correctly. And so
I'm
like
not
when
sure
I had
either.
read this article and this specific thing about whatever
Sorry.
time frame it was, I went back and looked at all my like photos that I have, because every time I get a new phone, my photos pull from my previous phone.
Right.
And also I went back to my social media, which have had Facebook since forever. And there is like a 1.5 time frame where I have not a single photo from like or anything. And granted, I'm not a big poster on social media, but it's a very weird, like I remember like saying to Jimmy, I was like, this is really strange, because this time frame was when I was like newly dating my ex-husband, and I know that I
Right.
would have had specific things, and
Right.
like there's pictures are just lost now. Could it be explained by I got one phone, and in a 1.5
Right.
I had that phone go away, and I just don't have it, like
Right.
it didn't upload.
Right.
But also on social media there is like a huge gap.
Yeah, there was one, because I started reading the Reddit thread that was like connected with this video, and there's a bunch of people that say that. There's a bunch of people that say like, and he even, and like granted, like it could all be fake or whatever else, but somebody had he knows that there was he was like, I know my friend was there, other people said that my friend was there, and that we all took a picture together. I don't know what time frame or year it was. And then he said when Facebook reminded me of the memory, that guy wasn't in there. And so then he's like, I know he was at the party. Like, that person says they were at the party and that we all had a picture together.
Yeah.
So then he posted like his original picture and the memory, and the person wasn't in it. And so then like everybody on there's freaking out about it, and I'm like,
yeah, those are crazy. The ones that, like, there are some that are even bigger than that. Like,
Yeah.
they're dumber.
Yeah.
But about the Monopoly guy, or about the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia,
Or the Berenstain Bears.
Or the Berenstain Bears. I saw one where somebody, you know, the Fruit of the Loom one.
yeah, that was so that one and the Fruit Loops. There's one for the Fruit Loops brand, and then the cornucopia and Fruit of the Loom, and I was like, those were crazy because people were showing pictures
the
and different.
The cornucopia one, apparently, fact check this if you will, but Fruit of the Loom heard about it, and they produced this document of like all of their market, like all of their through the years, and they were like, we've never used this, not one time. But then people will like take pictures of shirt tags with it on there,
Right.
So it could have been like, it could have been one of those things where there was somebody selling something,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's like more often than not, there's like a really obvious answer,
Right.
but those are so strange.
Yeah, like that one, the Fruit Loops one.
What's that one?
I was gonna say. I've never
So
heard about that
the
one.
Fruit Loops one was that there's a lot of people that have like pictures and stuff showing that fruit was spelled
with two O's.
with two O's or the UI. So I don't remember the order.
Right.
If it was that it was FRUIT first, and then everybody was like, I know it was spelled FROOT.
I didn't eat that cereal when I was a little kid.
Yeah, we did all the time, but it was like the same thing as Fruit of the Loom. Like Fruit Loops, like it caught wind of it. Mm-hmm. The Kellogg or whoever makes it got wind of it, and then they showed just like the whole history of it, and they were like, we've never spelled it that way. But then people had, like, somebody had like an advertisement from the early 90s, and it was spelled that way. And so I'm like,
it's wild, dude.
Why lie about it? You know, because the cornucopia one, they showed that where Fruit of the Loom came out and showed all their years of like trademarks and schematics and like draws up of like what they were going to do, the whole caboodle, everything. And they were like, we've never done that. And then they were like, people came out, tons of people, hundreds of thousands of people came out saying they're lying. And they had pictures.
Brass tacks here, gun to your head. What is it?
I don't know.
I say.
I don't know.
Gotta say.
Well, you know, the one, at least for Fruit of the Loom, I remember, I don't know what year it was. It's got to be more recent, but there was like, something was, there were people that were, wasn't it the cornucopia where people were calling it like a racial thing?
I don't know.
There was something with the cornucopia where people calling it like a racial thing. And I don't remember what that was in relation to. I think it had to do with like, you know, Plymouth and the Mayflower and the first Thanksgiving and all that. But I don't know. I could see companies being like, you know, like for instance, you know, what company just recently took the people have changed their entire brand because of social pressure.
Right.
Like, you know, Miss Buttersworth, and then what was the other one? Aunt Jemima, and then the Quaker.
Miss Buttersworth was it?
Quaker's Oats. Yeah, it was Aunt Jemima. Quaker Oats changed theirs. There's the butter. They took the
Land O'Lakes.
Land O'Lakes took the so. So there's different things where maybe it was like they took it off of social pressure and they just don't want anybody to remember.
That's probably some of it.
But I don't. Besides that, I don't think there's
I think
like,
I know
what.
I think the realization of the internet is just adding unfathomable problems, and I think one of them is like you can convince somebody of something fairly easy, and never before have you been able to talk to 8 billion people with one post.
Right.
And so like you're really just getting people like the Fruit Loops thing. If you made me guess, I'd be like, oh, double O's. Because that makes sense because the shape of the Fruit Loops.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a bunch of people that are just like jumping on a camp. And they're like, yeah, I think I remember that too.
Right.
None of it is big enough to matter either.
Right.
I think that's also telling.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say it's a timeline thing, like what did Kellogg do? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's strange. I don't think there's any like weirdness happening. I think it just has to do with we are human beings who are supposed to be in like 70 member tribes, and now we're in like a 330 million person tribe.
Yeah.
And there's just weird stuff around that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't
psychologically.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other ones, but I don't even know what the Berenstein Bears one is. I don't.
What's
It's
that one?
Berenstein and Berens. It's the way they say Steen. It's like
Steen or Stein?
Berenstein or Bernstein.
Or, you know,
It's like
Berenstein or Bern.
Yeah, and to the point where I've seen people produce books spelled the other way. But again, like knockoffs. There could have been somebody, you know how people sell like knockoff purses and stuff like that?
Right.
They get shut down like immediately. Back in like the 80s though, maybe you had like a viable business and nobody caught you. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, I don't know. It is weird though, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Because I kind of, what do you guys think it is?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm the same way.
memory is so like malleable that like you can really convince anyone of anything.
I also think there's like
agree with that.
weird stuff out there. Like we hear stories, like we now hear a story on a TikTok or on the internet or somewhere. And like, I'll give this example. I don't know if everybody else has heard this, but it's this guy talking and he's retelling this story. This girl is out at a bar with her friends. She's at a club dancing, hanging out, and all of a sudden she gets this overwhelming urge to walk up to a random stranger and tell him something. And so she's like thinking this is really weird, and then she like goes ahead and does it, and she walks up to this random guy and says, "My leg hurts." And that might not be the exact same statement, but it's something like that. This guy turns around and he's almost like weeping and sad because he's like, "Oh my God, this was like the one thing that like my father died, and we wondered if there was an afterlife, and before he died we agreed on one statement, one random thing, so that if there was an afterlife he would somehow communicate it to me, and there would be no questions about like what was said or how it was said, and it would be my leg hurts." And so this woman, but here's the thing. This is a story we're hearing from a person who could be making it up. Like it's all out there, but then like I repeat this story, and then who knows how many other people repeat this story, and they're like, wow, this is a real story. Is it a real story?
Right, I know.
You never know.
I also think it's interesting to Jim's point. I don't know if you all have ever read this, but like when you think back to a time in your life, you're accessing the memory of it.
Right.
And then the next time you think back to it, you're thinking back to accessing it the last time. So that's how things can change, where you're like, I knew I was wearing my red shirt.
Yeah.
But turns out it was the blue shirt.
Right.
Because which is kind of wild, because it's like you, in a weird way, it's hard to even trust your own memory. You trust your own brain. But that definitely exists.
It's wild.
Like I have something that's like completely different than this, but like a really weird story, and like to this day, like I believe in intuition. I believe that people have feelings about things, and my mother is big on this. And so when I was in college, I'm at my parents' house. I'm about ready to leave for class at the community college. My mom all of a sudden looks at me in the family room, and she's like, "When the soda falls over, don't grab it." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "When the soda falls over, don't grab it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go to class. I'm driving. I'm about to go under an overpass, and there is a semi truck ahead of me. We're at a stop, so we're at a left turn. The semi starts to go through the lane. As the semi is going through the lane, what I don't realize and no one else realizes is that the power line is really low. And so the semi has clipped the power line. They are pulling the power line. And at the exact same time as I start turning, the power line comes down along with the wooden, like, tower or pole that is holding it up, crashes right in front of my car. At that exact same time, the soda that I had in the cup holder flipped over because I was turning, and I was like, "Don't grab it," and I brakes the car, everything. That would have slammed onto my car.
That's some Final Destination crap.
Yeah. But now whenever my mom says stuff, I'm like, I'm whatever you say, whatever you say.
She's like, no to Jimmy. No,
it happens.
No, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, like that kind of stuff is like, there's something for that one, but I don't know what they call that.
Intuition?
No, there's like a
premonition.
Yeah, maybe there's something they call. It's like the Mandela effect, where people say there's like this thing. Because I was watching a video about that one too. But the other one that they brought up that was kind of crazy was the Shazam and the Kazam movie.
Yep.
I've
So,
never
like-
seen that.
Shazam was with Shaquille O'Neal
Okay.
and some kid.
That was Kazam.
That was Kazam. That's right.
Kazam.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And Shazam was
Right.
never made.
Right, was never made.
But people believe that what's his name?
Sinbad.
Sinbad was
Yeah.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
And people have produced
Yeah.
videos.
Well,
But
so-
wasn't there a movie with Sinbad when we were younger?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it wasn't.
called
It wasn't called Shazam.
Okay.
It's like the
See,
same,
it's happening right now for Aimee. See,
It's like the same storyline as Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal, which I watched recently, by the way.
did you?
Yeah, without my daughter, just by myself. And I've even seen him be like, "Yeah, I was never in that." Like he even was like, "No, that wasn't me."
Yeah. It's he's like, I remember both of them. No,
I'm sure
I
he
did
was
too.
in
I did too.
something.
That's why I started looking it up because I saw the names and I was like, well, yeah, Sinbad did one called
Jimmy doesn't know who Sinbad is.
yeah.
I think there was a movie, Sinbad.
Yeah,
But do you know who Sinbad is?
But he was a pirate.
I just know the movie, Sinbad.
He doesn't know who Sinbad is. That's
He's
why.
just too young. You're just a youngin.
He was an animated pirate.
He's just a baby.
Yeah,
Baby.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that it's.
I was picturing there was a dog in it, but we'll call him a pirate.
Can I pet that dog? That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Can I pet that dog?
But it's it's weird. I don't know. I think it. But I mean, that to me, that's what it is. Is that I think the majority of it is that it's so easy to just get like
Plant the idea and people
and then
misremember.
people are just like jump on board because
I mean, if we want to talk like multiple universes, it could just be like every near-death experience you've had in one universe, like you died, you stopped living, and then the other one you continued, and that's like your continuity of your life.
yeah, but that I mean that would be
That
so
gets
hard.
real crazy.
That would be so hard to you know what I mean?
It's like all these little.
Yeah, it's like because then it's like turns into Donnie Darko, you know, like because that was the whole thing with Donnie Darko was that like a plane was supposed to crash, or a plane did crash and it wasn't supposed to or something, and it jacked up the entire like you know time space continuum, and then he saved the world and died in that, and he lived this whole life with people, and then it went back to when he saved the day, it went back to the normal timeline and nobody ever knew he existed, and so it was like this like. You know,
So, infinity is not a thing that humans can understand, really. But that level of infinite blows me away because I've heard people describe it like that. Like, I've heard it even more than near-death experiences. But anytime you have a choice,
Yeah.
right?
you know, option A or option B,
Right.
it branches into another universe, and that's just one person we're thinking of. Right now, there's 8 billion people choosing to speak right now or choosing not to.
Right.
Like, it was just every second
Yeah.
there's.
Yeah.
You guys, this is kind of nerd out for a second, but I was losing sleep over this thought the other night. Did you know there are like some infinities that are bigger than other infinities?
No.
I got Todd with this the other day too, and he was here last because he was like, "That's not possible." But like, if you counted from 1 to infinity, and then counted just by even numbers to infinity, the even numbers are by definition smaller because there's
Right.
half the numbers.
Right.
There's like a smaller infinity.
Right.
It just like I can't grasp it.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild.
Anyway,
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
that was
It's getting
math.
deep.
It's getting deep in
That
here.
was math with Zach.
No, I like one of the other examples of that, like the memory thing, and that somebody brought up, and I thought it was really interesting because then I started reading that was that there's like hundreds of thousands of cases of like of murder cases or whatever it is, and somebody will be like, no, like I heard his voice or I saw him or I know it was that person, and then there's like five other people that come out and they're like, yeah, it was him, and then that person's innocent.
Right.
And it's like, who knows those people's motives or why they would say something like that. But a lot of the times, you know, if somebody's scared, you got the cops around, somebody was murdered where you work, it's like, you know, and somebody was like, I knew for sure I saw him, I thought it was him, like, and they were like positive, and they took that to the grave.
I
And
think
it's
some
like,
of that
and it's
too.
like innocent.
I think some of that too is like cops trying to get you to say what they want to
Sure.
hear.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's like a.
But I mean, a
trick
lot of the
that they
times,
use.
but a lot of the times, it's people coming to them,
Right.
You know,
That's the weirder
Yeah,
one.
and then it's like it's wild. It's like they that's how they remember it, and it's like okay, but somehow I feel like that has to be planted first, and then they just or something like that's the whisper around town, and they're like, yeah, it was him, and then it's like it ends up that he's totally innocent because they have like DNA evidence or something.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It really is. All right, we're back. Third thing. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a listener question.
Ooh, what is it?
I love how high energy you are. Oh, what is
What?
No, that was my DJ
I feel like
voice.
we're on a podcast with what's his name?
Sloth?
No, the guy in the wheelchair that talks through the computer.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking?
Stephen Hawking. I couldn't think of his name.
No,
Wow.
I don't sound that robotic.
Yeah.
What's our question?
Ooh.
Come on.
What
Nate,
did it say?
give us that question.
What did it say?
What did it say? Okay. So the listener question was, we had Mother's Day just passed us by recently. Okay.
Yeah.
And the listener wanted to hear funny stories involving our mothers from when we were little.
Oh, okay.
So
I got a couple.
you seem pumped about that. But yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought it'd be good.
I know when I made my mom probably the most mad I ever have.
Was it funny though? Because I mean, we
in
could
the
all probably
in
bring
the
up
moment,
a lot of.
in the moment I laughed. My parents got home from grocery shopping and we bought 2-liter sodas, like they were going out of style. And I remember being like, I need soda. We've been out of soda for a whole day. And I grabbed the soda out of the bag.
What kind of soda?
I think it was Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah, the
and
good
I
stuff.
turned the top, and it had been rolling around in the trunk of the car, and I'm not kidding, it hit the ceiling. It was like a volcano. Like the equivalent, all I can think is like, it was almost like I stood there and shook it, and I didn't. And it hit the ceiling, and my mom walked in carrying groceries. She was so pissed. And she was like, I'm going to have to mop the ceiling now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted some soda.
I just wanted
I just wanted some soda.
I just needed some soda.
So, I don't know how old I was. I was very young. My mom, who was like an event coordinator for her company, she was gone for a week, put on this meeting, and she got back and hot, tired, middle of summer, just like wants a shower and go to bed. Little did she know, during that week, my dad had taken me to the pool every night and taught me how to swim, and it was like a big milestone moment. And he's like, "Come on, Deb, just put on your suit. Let's go. Let's have an evening." She is pissed because he guilted her into it or whatever. So
Right.
we get to the pool, we lay down her stuff. She like oohs and ahs over me swimming, but she's still pissed because I think now she probably feels like a shade guilty because she was like, "This is about him" or whatever.
Right.
So those like, you don't see them as much anymore, but those white pool chairs, they're all plastic or whatever.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Do
shed
they
it.
have like the plastic straps that go across the
back of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that you and I wouldn't sit in.
Yeah.
today.
I never picked those. Yeah.
So she I mean, put yourself in her position. Hot, tired, doesn't want to be here. A shade emotional.
Right.
Plops down hard in one. It was missing the third leg,
Oh no.
and she falls backwards into this chain link fence that she gets her hair caught in,
Oh, God.
and she's stuck, just like screaming for help.
Oh.
And the story is, my dad's in the pool with me, obviously,
Right,
and I
right.
go, "Dad, what's Mom doing?" She's just waving her little legs everywhere. Fun fact, happened to her a second time, like 10 years later. The same exact. So I mean, I had learned to swim.
I can't help but think this is
I didn't
like
learn to
your
swim
fault.
again.
Did you sit in the chair before her and it cracked and then you were like,
I was a little guy.
oh, okay.
Well, like
240.
little for me. No, dude, I was under 2 bit. I was like 6 years old. I was probably like 185.
You were Jimmy's size.
Probably.
I was never shorter than 5'5".
That's funny.
You just came out of the womb just 6 foot.
5'6".
No, I wasn't that tall. That was a good one. She
That is
fell in
pretty
the
funny.
yard one time because she thought she was faster than me.
Let's hear it. That sounds hilarious.
She took 4 steps, dude, and just shook the earth.
And ate it?
Oh, ate it hard, bro.
Oh.
My mom has not been athletic a day in her life.
Right.
Like, she would tell you this.
Right.
She's got other strengths. She can bake a mean pie, and I mean that.
Yeah, for sure. I've had some of
She's
it.
also
Yeah.
really funny.
Some people think.
Some people find her funny.
She's
Some
an
people-
angel.
No,
I
I'm
think she's
kidding.
really
I'm
funny.
kidding. I think
She's got stuff going for her. Anyway, so we're getting out of the van one day, and I don't know why she's just talking smack like she's faster than me, and I'm like, yo, you can catch this smoke, old lady. And I'm young at the time. And I was so far ahead of her, I didn't know, but like she was down for a minute. She like hit the ground hard.
Right.
I don't think she did too many other embarrassing things.
I have another, like, not embarrassing, but a moment that I will never forget with my mother. My brother used to work at Budget Rent-A-Car when he was in college. So when you work for car rental companies like that, whatever you find in the car, you bring back, and if nobody claims it in a week, you get to keep whatever the item is if you want, or they just toss it.
Oh, that's
It goes
crazy.
into like a bin or something, kind of. Yeah. And so
does the person who found it get to keep it?
yeah.
Nice.
So my brother, there was always random stuff on the kitchen table because you have to clean out the car after you return it to the location, whatever. So I remember there had been like, it was either a Swisher Sweet or like one of those type of like, I don't even, would you call it?
Cigarillo. It's a cigarillo.
Yeah.
Cigar.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it and just kind of eyeballing it, and I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and so nobody was home other than me and my mom, and I was like, Mom, can we smoke this? And she was like, really? Do you think? And I was like, yeah, let's smoke it. Let's see what happens, you know? So me and my mom, for whatever reason, we took it into like our formal dining room and we lit it up. And I remember my mom going, she was like, I don't really taste anything. And I was like, I don't know if you're supposed to suck in or not. It was like just a really...
That is so funny.
In the formal dining room.
In the formal dining room
up.
that's the part that caught me.
She's
too.
like, let's go to the
So we went into
room.
she's like, so we went into the what do they call that? The
lavatory?
She's like, so we went into
The solarium.
So we went into the library on the second floor. And
Put on my smoking jacket.
that's funny that your mom was
The
like,
part
really?
that's funny-
You think we can? She wasn't like,
Yeah.
She wasn't like, no, like that's.
Well, my mom, neither of us had ever like smoked anything before.
Yeah.
You know how I
So-
know that? Because I could hear the... like straight from a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like,
Yeah.
That's
I
so
love that.
funny. That's great. What about you, Jimmy?
So to Amy's first story there, I just remember one time that my mom was just pissed, and I was laughing during this, but I did something, I think, to my brothers, and like I don't know if like we got into a fight or something, but at the time we had these.
not a lot of facts happening in this story.
Yeah, not
I
yet.
feel like you might have made this up.
So we used to have to, because I had 3 brothers when I was at my mom's house. We had these scooters that we would always just like ride around the block.
Right.
And I don't know what it was, but like my mom started chasing me because I did something wrong.
She was going to spank you.
Yeah, she was going to spank me, and I was like, I'm not letting this happen. So I'm on this scooter, just like running from her, and I do a couple laps around the block and come back and let her
Eventually,
cool off.
you're gonna have to come back home, dude.
Yeah, well, I think
That
it was
is
smart
so
of me
funny.
because by the time I got back on my second lap,
Right.
she was like, calm down, and she's like, you're grounded, instead of like getting a spanking, and I was like, all right,
It's
well, I
so
think
funny
it
to me
worked.
that she comes out and Jimmy's like just singing to himself. He's got headphones in, and then he just, for some reason, glances at his mom's full sprint down the sidewalk, and then he just takes off.
Well, she stopped chasing me, but I was just like, I did
got
a
a
couple
really good
laps,
mental
like
picture
nothing
on
was
that.
happening.
Yeah.
And,
I'm for sure taking the spanking in that one.
Really?
Every time.
Yeah.
No, my mom,
Every
like,
time.
if you give her a minute to calm down, she's not going to be.
How
that-
big's
that
your
man. She's shorter than I. She's like,
Take the spanking.
nah. I was pretty young at the time.
Yeah, but the story's hilarious now. Like, I'm kind of glad he ran like a fugitive from the law.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I guess so, for the story.
I lost my
Problem
scooter
is-
privileges though.
The problem is he wasn't doing it for the story.
Yeah, at the
He was
time.
retreating.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Fight or flight.
You know?
What about you, Nate?
I don't like. I'm trying to think of like there's a few out there, but I don't. You know, like my mom's very like I don't know what I can divulge because she's like
Gonna listen.
yeah, and she's gonna be furious if it's anything too like. I'm trying to think of something that she would be fine with me saying.
I would just like it to say to Mama Weaver, if she is listening, that I would love to have a cinnamon roll someday.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be so nice. I've heard so many good things about those.
She's probably told me to bring you guys some, and it just never happened because they got eaten.
Yeah, we definitely never got those.
Okay, well,
Let's call
let's not talk about that right now on the air. You
Okay,
know,
okay.
She's gonna hear, and then she's gonna be like, "You never took them cinnamon rolls."
Is that how her voice sounds?
No. So, one time, this is kind of funny. I joke about it a lot, so it's maybe more like just over the years I've joked about it a lot. But my mom's notorious for like saying the most.
Do I know this one?
I think you know this one.
I love this one. If that's what I think it is.
My mom is notorious for saying the most like just outlandish things. So like if something was happening or I was doing something, she would call me something or like equate it to something that was so ridiculous. And like
because English is her second language.
Because English is her second language, and so like
and I also feel like it would take her a lot to get to that point.
Yeah, she doesn't.
She seems like the most just like most patient. I mean, she raised you,
right? No, she's unbelievable. But the thing of it is that when she gets to that point,
just hot with rage.
It's you don't want to be there. Like I don't know what that is.
4'10" of just total fury.
Just cartel fury.
Yeah,
and she's like she gets hot. Like whenever I send her to that point, it was she was angry, but. So we're going. I'm like half asleep. I don't want to get up and go to church, and so like we're getting ready to go to church, and I just like threw on whatever t-shirt that I could find like on my floor, like wrinkly t-shirt, and then like I threw on some jeans,
standard.
And I was like, all right, let's go do this thing. So like they're like, come on, we gotta go. So I like come down the stairs, and she's like in the foyer, like just kind of like foyer for Aimee. Mm-hmm. Sorry, did I say that wrong?
No, you're fine.
Okay. And so I came down the stairs, and she's kind of like moseying around, and like she didn't see me right away, I don't think, because she didn't say anything. But I did look, it looked like if you were going to be particular about it, I probably looked frumpy, right? It's like I just threw whatever t-shirt on and like whatever else. And she's like, she sees me, and she's like, "Are you wearing that to church?" And I was like, "Well, I just like, yeah, it's fine, right? Like I'm just going to go, and like it won't be a big deal." And she's like, "You're not wearing that to church." And I was like, it's just a t-shirt. Like, it's not a big deal. There's not a dress code at the church, right? But you can wear a t-shirt and jeans, right? I think that she just didn't like the state that the clothes were in, because I think they were probably dirty, and you know what I mean? Like, I think it was like 10 or 12. And then she just like the switch happened, right? Because she was, I think, already fed up with everything else that was happening with the kids and like whatever else. And she's like, "You look like a beer drinking truck driver." And she was like, "You need to go upstairs." And my dad was like, I kind of saw my dad pause and be like, "It was an interesting example." Like, because he was like kind of by the door, and he's like, "That's okay," but he didn't say anything. Dude, he just kind of.
But I've been in that position, not that exact one, obviously. But when you're dealing with like full blown mom rage,
yeah,
and they say something, forgive me, moms out there, you say something a shade dumb,
yeah,
or like outlandish, and you're just like, I'm going to laugh at you, and
right.
This is going to make it worse.
Right. And I think my dad wanted to laugh, but he was also like, I'm not getting involved in that, because he was like just standing over to the corner. But of course, right when I start getting in trouble, I immediately look over at my dad and be like, is the hammer coming? You know what I mean? Like, right. Is it going to get worse? And so like right when that happened, I looked over at him, and he was like messing with something. He was like, I saw this like confused look on his face, and he was like, "Beer drinking truck driver," and then like just went back to what he was doing. And my mom was like, "You need to go," and I was like, "All right, I'll go change." But I also like at the time I didn't laugh about it, but as the years have gone on, I keep bringing it up. We'll all come in from doing something, and she's like, "Oh, you've been working?" I was like, "Yep, I look like a beer drinking truck driver." And then she'll laugh and be like, and she like regrets saying it to this day. She's also called me some other stuff that is so funny, but it's just like,
my mom had a really good one, but I'll probably have to tell you off air. It was really good though.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
It's now in our like family lexicon. It was so good.
Yeah, she another time because like I was homeschooled, right? So I'm doing school at home, and
you were
at
your home?
Yeah, my home, my personal home. Yeah.
Whoa,
my place of residence.
You mean like our forefathers did?
Yeah, yep, like the original settlers.
Wow,
yeah.
Dude.
And so I was in there.
I know that.
I was in there. Yeah, you did. I was in there.
I thought the Amish had schools.
Hey, man, I'm not. Don't do that. So anyway, I was like not doing school. Like I just wasn't listening. And the same thing happened again, where like I'm sitting there at my desk in the schoolroom, and I'm just not listening. And then I like
keep going.
And then I like I'm not listening. Boiling point hits. She gets furious.
She gets a bit caliente.
She gets caliente, muy caliente, and then she slams my like textbook. You guys good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. She like slams the textbook onto the table, And she's like, will you just quit being a big, dumb gorilla? And I was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's an insult, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, at the time, I'm more just reacting to her being mad.
Yeah.
But then after the fact, like later on, I'm like, big dumb gorilla. Like, it's the insults were so weird. Like,
It's so funny.
yeah, is this? Because I mean, at this point, I'm like 10, and I'm like twice the size of her. You know?
My grandma was like that. Or is still like that. Anytime we do anything that she doesn't agree with, she always calls us heathens.
Yeah, I love it.
Like,
love it.
Like when we would go to church and like we'd be like, yeah, we're just gonna wear this. She's like, you guys are dressing like a bunch of heathens. Or she would call us like jackasses. So like we'd just be out doing dumb stuff, and she'd be like, you guys are a bunch of jackasses.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
She's a feisty old lady. Her and
Yeah,
my grandpa used to get into it.
I had a
'cause
real edgy grandma too. Yeah.
my grandpa was deaf, and my grandma's blind, so like she can't see very well, but he could, but he can't hear anything, but she could hear like a hawk.
How'd she know what you were wearing?
Well, I mean, she can see like colors and everything, but like she can't see like this far in front of her face.
That would be so funny
So
if she.
essentially, you got both of her vision and your grandfather's hearing, because
Indeed.
you don't have any strong senses.
I love it.
They would get into fights, and he would just turn off his hearing aid. And I remember one time, like, she was like complaining to him about something, and he just like turned it off, and then she like still kept like talking, and he's just over there just like having a good time, just making like these like orchestrated, like,
Hilarious.
yeah. And either way, like, it ended up with him just like flipping her off, and then he like took the hearing aid out and just sat in his chair and watched TV.
Wow. It
They were
gets,
good. They were fun.
gets wild in your 80s. You know, you just don't care anymore. You're just like, it's over. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
I mean, you get to that point, it's like, ooh, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's a funny thing with like, because everybody has like different relationships with their moms, you know. But it's like, moms do. Zach's right. Like, moms say the funniest things sometimes, because like, it's just like in the heat of full rage, and it's like nobody's really around that I care hears what I say, right? So it's like it's like just at home with the kids or whatever, and you can just let it fly, and then it's like, it's funny. It's hilarious. You guys have anything else?
I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. All right.
I think your client's also here, maybe.
Yeah, I think she's about done warming up.
Okay.
Zach, you have anything you wanna talk about? Anything you want to pass on to our listeners?
Any to the future generation?
Word of the wise.
No.
Okay. Well.
Okay, he's checked out.
Yeah, I'm a little checked out. I don't know. I was trying to think of more funny mom stories, but I don't think I have any. Like, the problem with funny mom stories, to our listeners' point, there's so many like inside jokes that
Oh, for sure.
I could tell you about
Yeah.
them, but it would not be funny.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, well, and I have a really funny mom story, but it's so inappropriate that
Yeah.
I'm not willing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
I
There's
can't-
stuff
Oh,
that
maybe they should tune into the Patreon.
Yeah, well, jeez.
you're like,
you
it can't
you
even
guys
go
have
on the
heard
double
that.
page.
You
You're like, it
guys
can't
have
even
heard
go on the
heard the
Patreon.
story. It's
Oh, that one?
that one.
That one. Yeah, that one's rough.
That one's wild though. That one's like,
It's funny because it's not me.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And the other thing too is a lot of them at the time, it can be like terrible for you as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I have some where like I remember just like, you know, it being this whole thing, and then now it's like some of them you can laugh about, but it's
Right.
like, it's weird that at the time it's like the end of your world as you know it, and then, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, thanks, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.
Give us more questions.
Yeah, I like the questions. Keep
Like the
them.
questions.
Keep them coming. We'll be back. We'll be back, of course. Maybe we can get some guests on here the next time.
This
Yeah.
episode was brought to you by the Iron Fortress Gym, your local one-stop shop for strength. Get at me. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.